And you had a relationship with Torts. You were telling us before we got on air.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, our very first year, his first year of coaching was my first year of professional broadcasting. I graduated from Syracuse, went back to work in my hometown of Utica, New York, and there was the ECHL now was the ACHL, was the Atlantic Coast Hockey League back then. And it wasn't much of a league, folks. It started with five teams, and a team folded. So there were 4 left, so that meant everybody made the playoffs. So 4 teams, but we won our round, and John Tortorella was coaching the Virginia Lancers. I was coaching. God no, I was announcing for the Mohawk Valley Comets. So we played in the finals that year. So I didn't necessarily know Torts back then, but he was the coach of the team. They won in 7 games. That was notable for a lot of reasons. First of all, he was a great coach right from the get-go. That team had unbelievable record. The next year they had an even better record. Before you knew it, he's on to the AHL and on to Tampa and on to the NHL, and away he went. But that year we played Game 7. Now all year long I was doing the games. I'd come down to the Lancerlot Arena in Vinton, Virginia, to take. We'd play there, and I'd do the games from their press box, which was at the end of the rink. Not optimal, but you're upstairs and you're at least in a booth. So I arrive for Game 7 and expect to go to my usual location. I show up and there's this setup, like another broadcast setup. I go, what's going on here? Oh, the local radio station is going to do tonight's game. They hadn't done a game all year, but they're going to do Game 7. So I said, so where am I going to do the game? And they pointed down to this cement landing, which fine. It was down low, so I said, okay. So I go, and there was back then it was all done on phone line, so there was a phone line box there, and I look around, and behind me are seats where fans sit, and I'm like, are these seats not sold for tonight because you got me here? They said, oh no, this is a sellout tonight. I said, well, I'm going to be standing right in front of these people. They said, yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. So I'm literally, it wasn't a great location. I'm looking at a goalie, right? So I'm at the end of the rink, but I'm looking out and I'm low. So it's not a great location to begin with, but at least I can see the game. I'm by myself. I set up my equipment. I do the coach's show with Joe Selensky. He was the coach of our team, and he had moved over from the team that folded, bizarrely. But I get back up to my location. I start doing the game, and before the game even started, during the warm-up, I'm hearing some cat calls from the fans behind me, like, "Yeah, sit out in front," and all that. And I'm like, your people put me here. I can't move. And they were all right in the beginning, but then couple liquid refreshments,
right.
And now they're starting to say in the middle of the first period, enough, get out of our way, and they're trying to call security, and I'm saying, no, you're not gonna have any help there because I'm here because your organization put me here. Well, eventually, late in the first period, all of a sudden I'm doing the game, and I feel the cord get tugged, and I'm pulled back, and a guy grabs me from behind, and he's literally saying, you got to get out of the way, and I cut my mic, and I said, listen, I can't move here. This is where I split. We had a guy, Steve Plaskin was his name, a player. He was only about 5'8", I think, but he was really strong, and he was suspended. And he was down by our locker room, and these weren't huge buildings. He saw this happening. So he comes up and immediately grabs the guy, and I thought, all right, do I call the game or do I call?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure which to call. But he took care of the guy. He wrestled with him and he stood there the rest of the game. I had a bodyguard for the rest of the broadcast and the player. I tell Torch that story. He just dies. Henry Brabham was the owner of the Lancers, right out of the Slapshot owner. I mean, he had his overcoat. And that rink, eventually the roof caved in on it. But that was minor league hockey. That was my first year at ACHL, and there was Torch. So here we are. I'm winding my broadcast career down, maybe more than a couple of years, but in Torch is maybe his last stop of his coaching career. Here we are together, so we talk about that.